Hello, friends. Do you need a fast introduction to Microsoft Word for Mac? This tutorial teaches 10 core skills for beginners. We'll look at how to start a new document, change the font, size, and color of text, change the alignment, line spacing, and indentations, add headings, change the margins, add images, page numbers, and headers and footers. Then we'll look at how to run the editor, which is the spelling and grammar check. Lastly, we'll save and print the file. Today I'll be using Word for Microsoft 365 for Mac. Most of these steps also apply to the recent non-subscription versions of Word for Mac. If you're on a PC, please see the Windows version of this tutorial, which will also be linked below. To start, open Word, and then select Blank Document in the home screen. Alternatively, select Open if you want to open an existing Word document. If you selected Blank Document, select the Create button. When the new document opens, you'll be in the Home tab in the ribbon, and your cursor will automatically be placed toward the top left-hand corner of the page, ready to type. You can change the font, size, and color of text before or after you start typing. However, if you want to change existing text, first click, hold, and drag your pointer to select that text. Or you can select the entire document by selecting Command plus A on your keyboard. Select the menu arrow to open and choose a font, font size, and font color. If you selected existing text, that text will change immediately. If you haven't selected existing text, all new text will feature the choices you just made. Like the font choices just shown, you can change the alignment, line spacing, and indentations before or after you type text. To align the text on the page, select the Align Left, Center Text, Align Right, or Justify button. Note that the Justify option spaces the text equally across the page. Use this option cautiously because it can make the text difficult to read in some situations. Next, select the Line and Paragraph Spacing menu arrow, and then choose a spacing option from the drop-down menu. The Decrease Indent and Increase Indent buttons change the indentation for the entire paragraph. If you want to indent the first line only, place your cursor at the beginning of the paragraph and press the Tab key on your keyboard. You can turn existing text into a heading or choose a heading level before typing the heading text. To begin, select a heading level from the Styles group. If the heading level you want isn't visible, select the menu arrow, and then choose a heading level from the drop-down menu. Word includes 9 heading levels, although only a few will appear in your Styles group when you open a new document. Additional heading levels will appear after you use higher level headings. For example, Heading 4 will appear after you use Heading 3. To change the page margins for your entire Word document, select the Layout tab. From there, select the Margins button, and then choose an option from the drop-down menu. If you want to add an image, begin by placing your cursor in the approximate location, and then select the Insert tab, followed by the Pictures button, and then choose the location of the image from the drop-down menu. Photo Browser lets you choose an image from an album in your photo library. Similarly, Picture from File lets you choose an image stored elsewhere on your Mac, in external storage, or in the cloud. Stock images let you choose stock images, icons, cutout people, stickers, and illustrations. Note that the full stock image library is only available to users signed in to their Microsoft 365 account. Online Pictures lets you search for images through Bing, Microsoft's search engine. For this tutorial, we'll insert a picture from a file. When the dialog box appears, locate and select the image, and then select the Insert button. Your image should now appear in the document, and you can click and hold one of the resizing handles to drag the image to a new size. You can also select the Wrap Text button to choose how the image is positioned with the surrounding text. If you select any of the Wrap Text options other than Inline with Text, such as Square or Tight, you can then click, hold, and drag the image to a new location. If you would like to add page numbers, select the Insert tab, and then select the Page Number button, followed by Page Number from the drop-down menu. When the Page Numbers dialog box appears, select Bottom of Page or Top of Page from the Position menu. You can also select the Alignment menu and choose Left, Center, Right, or Inside. The Inside option places the numbers on right and left sides, so the numbers will appear inside near the binding when the document is bound. Conversely, Outside places the numbers on the left and right side, so the numbers will appear on the opposite side of the binding when the document is bound. Next, select the Format button. When the Page Number Format dialog box appears, choose a number format. Note that this dialog box provides several other options, such as starting the page numbers on a number other than 1. After choosing your format, select the OK button, and then select the OK button in the Page Numbers dialog box to insert the page numbers. To add headers or footers, select the Header or Footer button, and then select a design from the drop-down menu. Then type your text into the placeholders. When you're finished, select the Close Header and Footer button. In Word, the spelling and grammar check is called the editor. To use it, select the Home tab or Review tab in the ribbon, and then select the Editor button. When the editor pane appears, select the Corrections or Refinements category you want to review. If Word finds a possible error, select a recommendation, or select Ignore Once or Ignore All. Word will automatically move to the next issue within that category. After reviewing the recommendations, you can select a new category or select the closing X to close the editor. Before we move on, you may notice a spelling and grammar button next to the editor button in the Review tab. This button provides a quick way to check only spelling or spelling and grammar without checking the additional refinements reviewed by the editor. I recommend saving your file before printing just in case there is a disruption during the printing process. To begin, select File in the top toolbar, followed by Save from the drop-down menu. When the dialog box appears, select the location where you want to save the file, and type a name in the Save As text box, and then select the Save button. Note that once you've saved your document to a specific location, you can then select the Save icon in the Quick Access toolbar if you make changes to the document later on. To print, reselect File in the top toolbar, and then select Print from the drop-down menu. When the Print dialog box appears, ensure the correct printer is selected and turned on. And then enter the number of copies into the text box if you want more than one. Finally, select the Print button, and then follow any additional dialog boxes provided by your printer. Please note that this is a quick start guide. I do have complete tutorials for several of these topics linked in the description box below for those who would like to learn more. All the steps we just performed are listed on my website at erinwritewriting.com, which is linked in the description box below, along with my complete playlist, How to Use Word for Mac. Feel free to leave me a comment if there's a specific topic that you'd like me to cover in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss upcoming tutorials. And give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Thank you so much for watching.